which would be read in a slightly different way today. But anyway, okay. So we can actually get the documents. You go to the National Archives in Dublin. You can actually get. So we have it here. The trial of James Fitzgerald. So we have the suffered death, whatever the different penalties. So. Court proceeded to the trial of James Fitzgerald, blacksmith, accused of forging pikes, having 19 in his possession, etc., etc., etc. He had promised not to do it, but he said he had to, and blah, blah, blah. So he gets 1,000 lashes. And some of the other trials, anything over 200, your chance of living weren't great, but 1,000 was pretty severe. It wasn't quite the 1,500. 1,500 was the most severe of that series of it gave rise to the expression "to within an inch of your life." Anyway, this man got 1,000 lashes. We don't know whether he survived. I suspect if the family think that he was hanged, that he possibly died as a result of it, and that simply he was executed in the punishment. That is the most likely. The court were extraordinarily fast. His one there, literally, you have, that's the entire court case. There are no witnesses. Literally, in those days, there weren't. In his case, he had either had or hadn't got the pikes. He had the pikes, therefore, that's it. End the story. Now, the subsequent trials, by the way, did have the man, Croker Poole, who presents the trial. He's questioned by the people on trial. There are no barristers. It's a very quick process, so they might rate 2 pages, but you're talking about a very, very speedy trial. Now, so our friend gets his sentence, and the other guys, Florence McCarthy, he's described as having a white band around his coat, and it's an interesting kind of a colour to have, because the white would be the Jacobite colour. In those days, a very definite kind of a both religious and political thing to have. The 2 men who were sentenced to actually have of seducing people away, enticing people away, they were sentenced to death, and then the court adjourned to watch the proceedings. So in that batch of court-martials that took place around the 16th of June, flogging for some people, 200 to 1,500 lashes, transportation, sometimes you could have both. Father O'Neill, you heard earlier from Philip, was both flogged and transported. There was hanging, and there were some people both hanged and flogged, and then a number of people had insufficient evidence and were released. Now, there were 11 court-martials before that 16th of June in Cork. Of those, there were 11 trials, so 4 executions, 4 transportations, 2 acquittals, and 1 man put on bread and water for 3 months. It's kind of a variety of punishments. But I'm surprised at how small the number is, because if you have this huge campaign of brutality in an area, you're bound to have an awful lot more deaths than that. You have to have. You're going to have an awful more suffering. If you're using pitch caps on people and you're half hanging and so on and so on and so on, burning houses down, you're absolutely guaranteed that there are a lot more. So the question we put then is, did James Fitzgerald survive? We actually don't know. And I know, Philip, you might have seen that lovely headstone. The chances are that the lady who cleaned that is probably down there. Phil, were you involved in that, Phil? I'd say you were, because Phil has done incredible work out in Ballymacoda on the graveyards out there. But the trouble is, all the registers we have, they start around the late 1790s, 1816, 1820. There's a gap, and it's almost impossible to bridge that gap. You might be lucky occasionally in getting one, but certainly the Catholic tradition people won't have those records. The keeping of Catholic records doesn't come compulsory in the 1850s or so or beyond, but they're beginning to keep records once they're allowed to have churches. But that begins 1793, when they're allowed. So the Father O'Neill's church out in Ballymacoda, they would have had their 200th celebration, a year or so ago, because that's around the time they were allowed to have churches. So unfortunately there are huge gaps in the records, and you can't actually say. You do occasionally find here, for example, we have a name here, Jacobus Fitzgerald. I don't know if you can see that or not. Jacobus, Jacobus Fitzgerald. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Now, these records are written in Latin.
Yeah.
So Jacobus is James.
Yeah.
So, but the trouble is that James, we don't know. It possibly could be his son, because again, names stay in family. But can I invite somebody to come up here? Kay, would you come up a little bit up here? What?
You can, I'll stay here.
Well, I know that Kay and I, we both looked at the records to see if we could actually match back, because I mean the name, this particular family, there are a number of them here tonight, and there are, for people in the Youghal area, for example, this family is connected to Michael Hackett. They're connected, who's hugely involved in local history in the area here. There are lots of them here and travelled to come here, and they're very obviously a family that's keeping in touch with each other. And it would be lovely if we could break that little kind of brick wall between the 1815 back. It would be lovely to know what actually happened to James Fitzgerald. But like the legend, yes, he was a blacksmith. Yes, he got into trouble. Did it actually happen in Youghal? It could have. But when you have all those records, it's very hard to say that the events in Youghal, surely in say 1948, somebody would have said, look, by the way, there was also this guy in trouble. Have no doubt at the moment, 1916, the number of people who were in the GPO is rising every day. And when you have that, so in the 1948 booklet was very significant. So I would suggest that the James Fitzgerald was the man who would have been in trouble, we'll say in Ballyanchor, that's the man there, and that he probably died as a result of his punishment, and that bit by bit that would have become an execution. No, I don't know. This is a simple answer. Okay, so I'll leave it there with you. Thank you for that.
Could I just ask you, what date was that there?
That was 1830.
Was that 1832 and
Sorry, 1832. Yes.
All right. Thank
But
you.
you see, in this case, this was a person who was as a witness at a wedding, if I remember correctly. And the difficulty is that it's unlikely that a best man would have been James Fitzgerald, the blacksmith, at that stage. It could have been his son.
He was at a witness at the wedding where?
In Knockanore. In Knockanore.
Could we write down that? I'd like to get the copy of that.
I'll give it to Sean, and I'll pass on the record to Sean.
I have a lot of records now and
Okay.
Yeah, we know this happened.
Burton, sorry for allowing that area.
You can get it's lovely to actually, when you have a family and there's something to search back into and to look at it, it's wonderful.
Well, we got back as far as 1842.
Yeah,
As you know yourself.
and the new records are now allowing us to do this at home. The only difficulty is that some of the handwriting is appalling, some of the ink is appalling. It's difficult to read, and some of the stuff is faded, and but at the same time we can do quite a bit at home now. We don't have to travel. I mean, when Philip was doing his book, you were, as I say, in out of the archives, and when you see the footnotes, it's a sign of somebody who's a lot of footnotes and really well researched. You know that the work has been
A lot
done.
of the records I found in Dublin, they were faded away.
Yes.
It was really hard to see them
And-
make out the writing.
And they've made the microfilms of them, but the trouble is that they rarely allow you to see the originals, where you might have a better chance.
I've been up there recently there now, and they've all the microfilm machines, as I call
Yes,
them, all
they have.
this. It's all digital now,
Yes.
but I had a lot of stuff rolled out before.
Okay, sorry.
A trick to do with very, very faint writing is if you get a red see-through transparency
Okay.
and you put it on top, it actually brings the black up.
Oh, very, very good. Okay.
No, but if you put it on the screen before, well, I don't know about, sorry, no, interrupting you, before on the other screen, what super in her hand to block the light, like, you know.
Okay. No, but it's worth, because I mean when we were doing the grave things there, we were being taught things like about using bright lights and mirrors to bring up the shadows,
Yeah,
and
you
it
can do
was,
that.
you know, we were warned not to use certain things, not to be rubbing grass in the graves.
I'm going to give her one
Don't
morning.
give it away.
Yeah.
I'm going to give her one morning. I can't
Yeah.
remember. She was walking in there, and I met her on the bus.
Yes.
And she said not to not making any changes to white grass.
Oh no, that's what we were told. Not
Not
to
just
do it.
use water, she says,
Yes.
in a very soft colour, or get a mirror
Yeah,
on
and
a sunny
mirror,
day
and
and read.
yes.
I tried them one day today.
Anyway, folks, what we'll do is we might call a halt tonight. There's a whole series of stuff on Saturday and Sunday, and you have really an incredible treat in town if you have a chance to visit Walter Verling's exhibition. It's absolutely stupendous stuff in both the town hall and in Snell Shop. Sorry, question.
Where can one get Philip's book?
The man himself is here. Actually, I got
Come to
it.
me.
Yeah, it's actually available also. I got it on Amazon.
I had a few copies of that.
No?
The talk
Okay.
I gave this evening, if somebody wants to come up and get some.
Okay, so if you're interested, there's a copy there of the talk. Okay. The 1798 booklet, I'm sorry, I came across it just quite by chance, and I have it there, but it's but
We can look at that tomorrow.
yeah, that's just the proceedings of the 98th commemoration for Youghal. But it's not commercially available anymore, because that was obviously a few years back. But at the same time, it was fascinating because
Put it
it's
up on your website.
what I did was, a few people have asked me for it already, and I've emailed it to them, which is easier, because reading documents on the website is just easy to read a PDF if you want to. Okay? Anyway, thank you very much, folks, and good night.
We look at that tomorrow.
But-
We look at that.